Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of the shawl motif. I'm going to go over rounds 3 and 4. So in the previous video, we made this one using not the magic ring, but sort of the chain. And then we just tightened it in the back to give it the illusion that it was a magic ring. So this next color I'm going to use for my motif is going to be the tangerine. I think it's, so the brand, sorry, by Loops and Threads. The color is actually burnt orange, but I don't know. I had put in the way I was doing the patterns before I looked up the colors, I had called it tangerine. So, but anyway. So I've got a slip knot right here. And what I'm going to do is a standing double crochet into any, it does not matter, any of the chain one spaces from the previous round. So to quickly illustrate where my chain one spaces are, especially in the corners, I do have a couple stitch markers here and I'm just going to pop them in. So between these 3 double crochet clusters, so that's where all of my chain one spaces are in the corner, and then the other place where I have my chain one spaces are here, 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 and here. So when you ended that last, the second round, you should have finished up with 24 double crochet and 8 chain one spaces to make your 4 corners. So 6, 12, 18, 24. All right, so it doesn't matter where I put this. I always seem to change it up. Let me see, but here we go. So a standing double crochet, I'm going to take I'll leave them in so we can just illustrate the point of where I'm going to put at least the next stitch. So let me remove these. We'll keep this one in. So I'm going to do a standing double crochet. I'm going to put it right here. So there's our first there's our first double crochet. I'm going to work 2 more into this spot. 1, 2. And then I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. I'm going to take this next one pretty slowly. So I'm going to work 4 double crochet into this chain 1 spot. So there's 1. I'm going to remove that stitch marker. 2, 3, 'The only downside to this yarn, let me undo this one real quick. This is that 4th one. All right, so there's 4. Chain 2. And now you're going to work another 4, and you're just repeating this all the way around. So in each chain 1 space, you're going to work 4 double crochets. I'll take the corners a little slow, but on these, the non-quarter spaces, I'll go fast. All right, so there's that, the chain 1 in the corner. I'm working in it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, work your next 4 double crochets in. All right, chain 2. In that corner space, we're working another 4. This one's a pretty easy round. The first 3 rounds are all pretty easy. I'd have to say there's only really 3 complex rounds in this motif, at least the full motif. The half motifs are a little bit special. So I've chained 2, working 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, all right, and 4, 2 double crochets. But wait, you might think, I only did 3 double crochets in the first spot. Well, that's because I found that I just, if at all possible, I try to not end my round on having a chain be my last stitch. So 1, 2. So we've got 3 over here. We need to have 4. So I'm just going to do a double crochet right in there. And then I'm going to slip stitch to that top part. So here we go. Just going to get underneath both the posts, pulling through, and then there's my slip stitch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. And before we continue on, I'm just going to take a look at sort of the anatomy of this, right? So here is where we have 8 of these 4 double crochet groupings, which means that you should have at the end of this round, plus, doing it once you've slip stitched in, you should have 32 double crochets. And then you should have 8 chain 2 spaces. So a total of 16 chain 2s. So just make sure that you've got that and that you have your 4 double crochets in each of your chain 1 spaces from the previous round. So that completes round 3. Now we're going to go on to round 4. So to start round 4, we've slip stitched into that starting double crochet. We've chained 1. And now what we're going to do for all of this in these 4 clusters, these sets of 4 double crochets, we're going to be working between the double crochet posts. We're not going to be crocheting into the top of the double crochet in this round. So I've chained 1. I'm going to do a standing half double crochet in between my first and second double crochet posts. So there we go. Let's pull this back. All right. Now, next we're going to do a standing half double crochet in between the second and the third double crochet post from the previous round. So there we go. Now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And looking at your first chain, the first chain that you did, so it's coming up from that top of the half double crochet, you're going to want to slip stitch into it. So I'm yarning over, pulling through, and I have to kind of pinch and pull down on my chain so I can slip stitch easily. Now to finish off this, I think it's pronounced picot. It's P-I-C-O-T is what that is right there, and it creates kind of a little bump on the top. But now I'm going to do another half double crochet back in between the second and third double crochets from the first round. I'll stop for a second after I do this next stitch so you can kind of see what that looks like. But we're going to do one more half double crochet, and this is going to be between the third and the fourth posts or double crochets from the previous round. So here's what we have so far. Got a little bump right there, right? I'm going to show you how it looks like on a completed one. So there's a little bump. It doesn't provide a whole lot of detail to the motif, but it does help provide something within this negative space. And it also will help guide you in rounds 5 and 6 as to where to put your stitches. So it's a nice little detail, and it was in the original shawl that I was trying to replicate, so I left it in. That's helpful. All right, so we finished a half double crochet in between the third and fourth double crochet of this grouping from the previous round. Now in the chain 2 space, we're going to work 2 half double crochets just over that chain. So there's one. I'm going to take this slow now. And there we go. So that's a complete repeat. And we're going to do this exact same thing all the way around. When I get to the center ones, so the ones that aren't worked into the corners, I'll take it slow. But for these ones, I'll go fast. And I'll knock things over while I'm at it. All right. All right, now to go slow, do that half double crochet between the first and second double crochet posts in the previous round. Do a half double crochet between the second and third. Chain 3. Slip stitch into that first. Half double crochet again back in between the second and third. Half double crochet in between the third and fourth. And then we're doing 2 half double crochets in that chain 2 space. And then I'll bring this closer to the camera in the next rotation. All right. I got to stand up so I can actually look through the camera. So there is our half double crochet. Doing our another half double crochet. Chain 3. Going back to that first one. All right, pulling that down. Okay, another half double crochet back in that same spot. All right, and then a half double crochet in that last one. Okay. And now I'm just going to finish this round because, of course, the good part about YouTube is you can slow down the video, you can speed up the video, you can rewind, go back, watch something however many times you need. And of course, if this isn't making sense and you just need it broken down a different way, I will say, not that I'm trying to push it off to other videos, but there's definitely a lot of tutorials out there that take stitches like these just step by step in a much slower manner. Oops. Let's try that again. Let me pull this up a little bit. Make sure that I'm grabbing the right ones. There we go. All right. So we made all the way back around. I actually don't like how that's sticking out. It doesn't hide itself like the others were. So I'm just going to undo that part and redo it. Obviously, if you're using a different type of yarn, you're not struggling with this problem like I am, but let's try this again. All right, that's much better. Okay. So I'm just gonna weave in my ends real quick, doing that invisible join again. This is a little bit different because obviously I didn't do chain 3, but when I do my join, it basically creates the illusion of a whole other stitch. So I don't want to go into that first half double crochet. I want to go into the second. Going back down the post with a little, and now it looks almost like a faux stitch. So you have exactly the right amount of stitches you need. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I look at this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I still have the correct stitch count, and it just looks a little bit better. I'm just going to weave this in. I don't want to pull it too tight because I have this looking perfect. So I go the other way. And of course, you don't need to worry about weaving stuff in if you're using all one color. You would just slip stitch and then start working on the next round. I will do a video at some point where I go through the entire way I would make it if I'm making it with just one color. But for now, because this is the current project I'm on, I'm focusing on these rows where there's frequent color changes. So we've got that all nice and woven in. It's not going anywhere. And this, so some people do this. I only do it on occasionally, specifically with the last row that I do. I will actually undo this knot to make it less, make it stand out less, and then weave it in. But for this round, I won't do that. I'm just going to weave it in. So I'm going to go probably about 2 bars in this direction to try and help line the knot up so it doesn't look so odd. If I'd gone the other direction, it would have really stuck out. This is just a way of trying to get it to blend in. There we go. Go far enough this way. Okay, and then I just pull it to try and evenly distribute the yarn. So there's less risk of it working its way to look like, and less risk of it trying to appear like it's trying to unravel. So that's my second weave in, and here's my third. There we go. This is the wrong side of the work. All right, and there we have it. This is the completion of rounds 3 and 4. All right, good luck.